Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Presidential Address, the last one for 2021. It's been an outstanding NFL season so far. For everybody listening to the show, for all of my clients, I've just been winning at everything. Guys, before we get into the show real quick, I just want to wish you all a happy new year. It's a real pleasure doing the show for you guys. The comments that you give are amazing. I read them all. It's really appreciative. And also the views. I mean, 11, 12,000 views every week. Second most watched show on WagerTalk behind Bet On It. And I'm never going to get ahead of Bet On It. There's just nothing I can do. I'm not Gianni. I'm not Marco. And I am certainly not the great Kelly Stewart. With all that said, if you've never watched this show, we take apart every game top to bottom. No buys anymore. So it's a big slate. We also have Andy Lang joining us at around towards the end of the show for 3 prop bets, and I give out my 3 best bets at the end as well, plus a teaser. Our record last week, 10-4 down the board, a total record this year of 127 wins, 98 losses. My best bet last week, I had 3 of them. We went 2-1. My best bet record is 31 wins, 16 losses. That is freaking ridiculous. And my teaser record, even better, 8-3 on the year. Booyah! I am rolling. Let's get into it. Vegas versus Indianapolis right off the bat. And well, when I started doing this, we had Vegas at plus 7.5. Man, there are 6.5s on the board right now. A lot of money coming in on Vegas. 57% of the tickets written are on Vegas. 65% of the money coming in is on Vegas. Let's take this game apart. Well, you all know how I feel about Indy. I've been on them almost every single week, and I think, honestly, guys, they are a real Super Bowl contender. Want to know how bad Denver is? They lost to the Raiders. That's how bad. This Raiders team is a total mess, and they have been since Ruggs went out. Obviously, Gruden was a huge factor in this, but from an offensive perspective, Ruggs is just, he's the guy that stretched the field. In the Raiders' last 8 games, that's half a season, they have scored 17, 16, 9, 15, 36, an anomaly, 13, 14, and 16. That's insanely bad. What are they, the Bears? Oh my God, their offense is anemic. When you look at Indy, we see a well-oiled machine that could beat any team and could beat any team any way. They can beat you 10-7 and run you to death. They can throw the ball. Carson Wentz, 3rd in the league in touchdowns to interception ratio. They can win high-scoring games. They can win snooze fests. They have the best running back in football and have rushed for over 200 yards 4 of their last 7 games. To put that in perspective, there are teams that can't rush for over 100 yards ever, and this team has done it 4 of their last 7 games. Here's the bottom line. I can't take Indy giving so many points. The Raiders lose this game, and they are out. Everything coming out of the dressing room in Vegas suggests that they are going to play their tuchuses off. So I am going to pass on the side. My pick on this game, under the total. It was 48, guys. It's now 44.5. So much money. 95% of the money is coming in on the under. If you plan on betting the under with me here, please bet it ASAP. New York Giants at the Bears. New York Giants are plus 6, total of 37.5. What do you do with this piece of crap? So here's the thing. As we get into these completely meaningless games towards the end of the year, the right sides of these games, and we spoke about this last week, is to take the overs. There's going to be more trick plays. There's going to be more going for it on 4th downs. I can't take the over in this game. I can go on and on about how crap both these teams are, especially on offense. I mean, literally like Siamese twins giving head, just double sucking like no other. If I had to bet this game, I would bet pass at even money. So pass is what I am going to do. The total is too low for me. I can't bet under 37.5. And man, there's just nothing here. And I just want to stop there real quick and say to you guys, I'm going to be passing a bunch this week and next week. There are a lot of games that are meaningless and strange stuff happen in these games. I know we have a guy on YouTube that keeps calling me, oh, Mr. Pass, Mr. Pass. I had 14 plays last week. I'll have at least 10 this week down the board. I'm allowed to pass, and passing is part of being a good bettor. Also, before we get into the Tampa Bay Jets game, I want to point out that I had a 4-2 week for my clients last week. My record overall this season for my clients is 58%, 30% return on investment. If you guys aren't playing the actual plays I'm betting, you're nuts. So make sure to head over to WagerTalk.com and check out my card for Week 17. Now let's get into this Tampa Bay New York Jets game. It was minus 13. We have some money coming in on the Jets. We got minus 12.5 on board, but very little. It's pretty even. The total in this game, 45.5. There's a few 46s. And I find this game interesting. The Jets are really trying, and we saw that last week versus the Jags. The Bucs still need to win out for home field advantage, and they won't look past anyone. But this, honestly, is just a brutal spot for Tampa Bay, and they are giving out way too many points. With that said, can Tampa Bay win this game 30-3? Yes. Can Tampa Bay win this game 41-10? Yes. Can they scratch out a victory 27-17? Yes. Can the Jets win this game? No. But there's just too many points to give out. What do I do? What I do is what I know is that the Bucs will score, and they will score a lot. And the Jets this year are 9-6 to the over. In Tampa Bay's last 6 games, they were shut out once. And the other 5 games, they put up over 30 points. They should put up over 30 points again here. The Jets are playing much freer now as the season is winding down. The last game, they put up 26. Where am I going with all this? Well, I think we can get 17 out of the Jets. I think we'll see a 31-17 type game take over the total. Now we have Atlanta versus Buffalo. Atlanta plus 14.5, a total of 45, 44.5. This is the worst possible spot for the Bills. They've just come off of 2 games in the last 3 against the Patriots. They just took control of the AFC East, and now they're going to have an emotional letdown. But will this emotional letdown be enough to lose the game? No, they're winning this game. But covering more than 2 TDs against a team fighting for their lives, that just seems too high. I can't take the over in a Falcons game. I can't take the under in a Bills game. Like a eunuch in a brothel, I'm going to pass. Next up, we got Arizona versus Dallas. Dallas at minus 5.5. Total of 51. Man, Kingsbury must be losing his mind. 2 years ago, this Arizona team fell apart in their last 5 to 6 games. Last year, they fell apart again. And this year, well, the story continues. This Zona team just isn't nearly as good as the market thought they were. Last week, they were favored at home versus Indy. Do you think they'd be favored at home versus Indy this week? I don't think so. Sorry about that. I think last week was a bad line, but I do think the markets have finally caught up with how bad Arizona has been playing, putting them at a 5.5 point dog against Dallas. I hate this spot for Dallas. Like the Bills, this Dallas team, well, the Bills didn't wrap up the East, but Dallas just wrapped up the East, and they are primed for a letdown. With that said, they still need to win out. They just dismantled Washington, and they should regress in this game. They're not going to be beating teams by 100 points on a regular basis. I took the over in the Zona game last week, and they let me down. That was one of my 2 losses. But I'm going right back to the well. This game is being played indoors on a fast track, and Dallas might have the best offense in football. How do you stop this Dallas team? Do you double cover Cooper? What about Lamb? Do you double cover Lamb? What about Cooper? What about double covering both? How about Schultz? What about stacking the box? to stop Zeke? What about Pollard? Even their right tackle scored a touchdown last week. This Dallas team is impossible to cover. I think they might be the best team in football right now. However, I have to think Arizona's defense will get going in this game. You look at the game against Detroit 2 weeks ago, it was turnovers. You look at the game against Indy, they were able to move the ball up and down. They just couldn't score. I cannot, and I will not take Dallas in this spot. Arizona, however, I can't take them. They haven't earned my money. I'm going with a shootout in this game. I think we get into the 60s, take over the total. Next up, we have Carolina and New Orleans. And guys, I'm not going to handicap this game much. I can't take New Orleans at -7 or 7.5. They just can't score. I can't take Carolina. They just suck too bad. I'm just going to take the under in this game and move on. Philadelphia versus Washington. -3 for Philadelphia. 45.5 is the total. How can you take Washington in this game? They lost 2 weeks ago against this very team. Then they went on the road and got annihilated by Dallas. I actually don't even think they showed up for the game. The Eagles have won they've won their last 3 games, 5 of their last 6. While the Washington football team, they've already booked their tee times. Washington was in total control of their destiny a few weeks ago and had their playoffs in sight. In their last 5 games, this Washington team has put up 14, 17, 17, 20, 17, and 17. That's actually 6 games. In the Eagles' last 4 games, they held offenses to 10, 17, 18, and 13. Now, I get that wasn't against the Washington. I get that was against shitty teams, Washington, the Jets, and the Giants twice. But guess what? They're playing a shitty team this week. The same very team, Washington. And this Washington team is struggling to score. The worst part for Washington is when you are looking like you might make the playoffs, and then you screw the pooch 3 games in a row. You have to be emotionally down in the dumper, and you have to be pretty much ready to call it a season and get those golf clubs out. I say this, though, the Washington football team, they want to win this game, and technically they can tie Philly in record if they win the next 2 and Philly loses to Dallas, and Dallas in the last week might be playing for home field advantage. Everything suggests the Eagles are the bet here, but my job is to find the best bet in every game, and the best bet in this game is under the total and not the side. We have 2 teams that are both rush heavy. 2 teams and Washington haven't thrown for over 200 yards in 4 games. And this is crappy weather these teams play in, and I don't quite understand the number. 46 is what it is. 45.5. That just seems massively high to me. 2 weeks ago, the number was at 39.5. Now, I know it went over. It hit 44. But I think 2 weeks ago, the line was more appropriate than it is now. That's a 7-point difference over the last 2 weeks. Neither teams have demonstrated that they should have a 7-point greater line than it was originally. I'm taking under the total. Kansas City going into Cincinnati for one of the sexier games of the week. We have Kansas City at -5. There are 5.5s all over the place. And the total at 49. We are seeing a 50 in some areas. Bad spot for both teams, guys. Cincy just beat up Baltimore, and KC just took care of business against the Raiders. With that said, both teams are playing to win. And although KC is rolling, 5 points is simply too much. Burrow's just put up close to 500 yards against Baltimore, and he's done that 3 times this year. I know this KC defense has turned the corner. I actually told you they were going to turn the corner, but they are not lights out by any stretch, and neither are the Bengals D. I thought this game would be 52, but it's 49, and I have to believe both teams can get us to 24. I think this game is going to be close, and I also think Cincy can win this game outright. I'm a believer in this Cincy team. If this was a playoff game, I would be all over Kansas City at this line on the road in Cincinnati, but it's not. It's a regular season game. I know Kansas City has won 8 in a row and have covered 6 in a row, but I'm not going to be playing the side on this game. My pick, guys, over the total. 31-27 seems like a legitimate score. That's 9 points more than the total. Take the over. Now we move to Jacksonville and New England. Minus 15.5 for the Jags. A total in this game of 41.5 with a couple of 42s lying out there. My question, how many points will the Jags score in this game? 10 tops? Can New England put up 24? Here we have a warm weather team playing with a first draft pick, knowing their tumultuous season is over and just wanting to golf already. So the play is on New England, right? Hell no. This New England team has put up 21, 17, and 14 points in their last 3 games. I don't expect them to get a sniff of 28 in this one. New England plays to their competition. If they don't have to score, they don't. If they need field goals to win, they take them. If they do have to score, they score. If they need touchdowns to win, they get those too. New England is going to just do exactly enough to win this game. My pick on this game, under the total of 41 points. Man, 30-10, that seems like a legit score. 40 points. 24-14, 38 points. 20-13, 33 points. 20-17, 20-3, 24-10. On and on and on. You can come up with a million different outcomes, and all of them say take the under. Now we have Miami versus Tennessee. I'll make this easy, guys. Under all day long. This game is 17-13 written all over it. And even that is three touchdowns. I don't even think 3 touchdowns are going to be scored in this game. I actually have a predicted score of 16-13. Let's take a look. Miami's defense in their last 7 games. They've allowed teams to score 3, 24, 9, 10, 17, 10, 9. Tennessee's defense in the last 7 games. 17, 19, 0, 36, 22, 21, 16. And as for scoring, man, this Tennessee team, 20, 13, 20, 13, 13. 3 games in the last 5. Tennessee has not gotten 2 touchdowns in the whole game. My pick, under the total. Now we have Denver playing the Chargers. Minus 5.5, minus 6 for the Chargers, a total of 45. And guys, just when you think the Chargers are done, right after they lose a brutal game, that is the exact time to bet them. This Chargers team is a really good team that over the next few years is going to become great. I love Herbert, and I'm high on the Chargers. Last week, they lost to Houston, and it was a disaster, and I get it. It was a brutal spot for them. They had just come off an overtime loss against Kansas City. They were in a down state emotionally. They are going to bounce back. As for Denver, their defense is great, but their offense can't do a damn thing. Denver is 3-12 to the under, as well as 8-1 to the under in their last 9 games. Chargers are 4 in a row to the over. I cannot take the total in this game. I can't play over with Denver. I can't play the under with the Chargers. The Chargers lost to Denver 28-13 a month ago. Next game, they beat Cincinnati 41-22. I think the same thing is going to happen here after a brutal loss. I think we're going to see the Chargers give us their best game. I just don't think these teams compare, and especially offensively. I don't care if Bridgewater plays. I don't care who the quarterback is for Denver. I think the Chargers win this game by more than 10. Take the Chargers. Houston plus 13 against San Francisco, total of 44, 1,000% passing on this game. Detroit plus 6.5, 7 versus Seattle, total of 42.5. How can you take Seattle here? They lost at home to the Bears. If you can't beat a bear, how are you going to beat a lion? With that said, I can't take Detroit either. Sorry, guys. Total pass. Now we move to the Rams versus Baltimore. Minus 3.5 of the Rams. 46.5 is the total. And I know, here we go again. Prez is a Ravens hater. Nope, I don't hate any team. I just don't think the Ravens are very good. The Ravens have lost 4 games in a row, and they are looking, well, like golf is in their imminent future. They have to turn it around, and they have to do it right now. Too bad they're playing the Rams, and likely with their third string QB. The Rams have won 4 games in a row and are looking really, really good on both sides of the ball. I think this is a bad spot for the Rams, which is why I'm not going to release this play to my clients. But I just don't see any other way to bet this game. The Rams are just way better everywhere. Their D is better. Their O is better. Frankly, their coach is better. But hey, don't worry, guys. The Ravens have the better kicker. Rams -3.5. That's my pick. Minnesota, Green Bay. Guys, it is with chagrin and regret that I tell you I will be on this game for my clients. We sell picks for a living. It's a standalone game. I'm not giving it away on this show. If you want to know my thoughts on the Minnesota Green Bay game, you got to head over to WagerTalk.com and purchase my Sunday package. Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. As of this moment, I am passing on this game. I just haven't done enough research. With all the bowl games going on, with Sunday's big NFL card, with COVID, with weather, I will likely attack this game on Sunday night after the Sunday games are done. And that's it. The Prez, top to bottom. Now we got Andy Lang joining us for 3 prop bets, and right after him, my best bets.
Welcome, everybody. We're going to do 3 props in 3 minutes, and we're coming off a 3-0 sweep last week. Let's get into it. Let's hope we can cash 3 more. I'm going right back to the Jalen Waddle train. This has been probably the best prop that I've had all year. Jalen Waddle over his receptions. We're going to see 6.5, possibly even 7.5 at plus money. I'll still take it. Easily cashed this one last week. The number was 5.5. He's had 8, 9, 9, and 10 catches the last 4 weeks, and he's averaging 10 targets a game the last 9 games. And these are mostly really short yardage targets, so they're very high percentage completions, and they're hard to defend. Tennessee is 10th worst in the league in completions allowed, so you can throw on him. This play's been fantastic. I'm just going to keep riding the streak on Jalen Waddle over his receptions. Next play, we cashed this one last week. Kyler Murray over his pass attempts. I'm seeing 34.5 as his pass attempts. I'm going to come back and play it again, mostly because this Cardinals rushing game is just in complete disarray. We saw it against the Colts. They only rushed the ball 21 times. And if you take out Kyler Murray's rushing totals, the running backs rushed 17 times for 59 yards. James Conner is going to be a game-time decision with a foot injury. And when the Cardinals cannot run the ball, Kyler Murray lights it up and throws it a ton. The last 3 games for Arizona, by the way, all losses, Murray has attempted 43, 41, and 49 passes. They're underdogs in this game. I think this running game is going to struggle again, and I'll expect a lot more passing from Kyler Murray, so take his over pass attempts. And finally, Ronald Jones will score a touchdown with Fournette out. Jones got most of the work in the running game last week, 20 carries. He scored a touchdown. Keyshawn Vaughn rushed for a touchdown, so the Bucs running game rushed for 2 touchdowns last week. They're running the ball well against bad opponents. This week they get the Jets. They've given up 27 rushing touchdowns this season. Jones should get a touchdown with the Tampa receivers as banged up as they are. So I'm going to take Jalen Waddle over his receptions, Kyler Murray over his pass attempts, and Ronald Jones to score a touchdown. Those are your 3 props in 3 minutes. Back to you, Prez.
Great stuff by Andy Lang. Love having him on this show. Guys, just to recap, like I told you all, the best bets record on the season on this show, 31 wins, 16 losses. My teasers, 8-3. I'm at 58% for my clients. I will have 3 plays for Sunday. Make sure to grab them. You can head over to WagerTalk.com, check out my personal page, and make sure to play my client plays. As for the best bets for this week, week 17, we're going to take the Chargers -5.5, Tennessee under the total of 41, and the New England Patriots under the total of 42. No teaser for you guys. Sorry about that. And that, my friends, is the show. Again, Happy New Year, happy holidays, lots of love to all of you guys. Be safe, play safe, and have a blast. We will see you next week for week 18 of the NFL.